Ángel Leoncio Reyes Reséndiz was born in Izúcar de Matamoros, Puebla, Mexico, by illegally jumping on and off trains within and across Mexico, Canada, and the United States, generally crossing borders illegally. Reséndiz was able to evade authorities for a considerable time. He used many aliases, but was chiefly known and sought after as Rafael Reséndiz Ramirez. His birth name was Ángel Leoncio Reyes Reséndiz. United States government records show that he had been deported to Mexico at least 4 times since first entering the U.S. in 1973. Reséndiz killed at least 15 people with rocks, a pickaxe, and other blunt objects, mainly in their homes. He was sometimes referred to as the railway killer or the railcar killer. After each murder, he would linger in the homes for a while, mainly to eat. Reséndiz took sentimental items, and also laid out the victims' driver's licenses to learn about their lives. He stole jewelry and other items, and gave them to his wife and mother, who lived in Rodeo, Durango, Mexico. Much of the jewelry was sold or melted down. After Reséndiz's surrender, some of the stolen items that had been removed from his victims' homes were returned by his wife and mother. Money was sometimes left at the scene. He raped some of his female victims, however, rape was probably a secondary intent. As Reséndiz himself was of small stature, he did not attack large victims, who could have overpowered him. Most of his victims were found covered with a blanket, or otherwise obscured from immediate view. His victims was 16 persons. The first was Jane Doe, unidentified age. They date in 1986 in Bexar County in Texas. He shot her 4 times with a .38 caliber weapon, with her body dumped in an abandoned farmhouse. Reséndiz stated that he met the woman at a homeless shelter. They took a motorcycle trip together, bringing a gun along to fire for target practice. Reséndiz said that he shot and killed the woman for disrespecting him. Remains of Jane Doe found March 23, 1986. The second victim was an unidentified man, unknown age, killed in 1986 in Bexar County in Texas, supposedly the boyfriend of the previous victim. Reséndiz said he shot and killed him, and dumped his body in a creek somewhere between San Antonio and Uvalde. Reséndiz said that he killed the man because the man was involved in black magic. This man's body has never been found, and nothing is known about him, except what Reséndiz told authorities. Reséndiz confessed to these first 2 murders in September 2001, in hopes that doing so would hasten his execution. The third victim was Michael White, age 22, killed in July 19, 1991 in San Antonio in Texas, bludgeoned to death with a brick. His body was found in the front yard of an abandoned downtown house. Reséndiz also confessed to this murder in September 2001. During this confession, he drew a map of the crime scene, and claimed that he killed White because he was homosexual. The fourth victim was a man. His name was Jesse Howell, age 19, killed in March 23, 1997 in Ocala, Florida, bludgeoned to death with a railcar airbrake hose coupling, and left beside the railroad tracks that ran through Bellevue. Howell had traveled to Florida from Illinois with his fiancée, Wendy Von Heuben, who was also murdered by Reséndiz shortly after Howell's death. Reséndiz claimed to investigators that he killed the couple because he believed they were anti-Christians. 5. Wendy Von Heuben, of 16 years old, killed she in March 23, 1997 in Ocala, Florida, raped, strangled, suffocated both manually and with duct tape, and buried in a shallow grave in Sumter County, Florida. Von Heuben and her F. Raped, strangled, suffocated both manually and with duct tape, and buried in a shallow grave in Sumter County, Florida. Von Heuben and her fiancé, Jesse Howell, had met Reséndiz near Jacksonville. Hoping to find work picking oranges, the teenaged couple had caught a ride aboard a train's grain car that was also occupied by Reséndiz. Claimed that his motive for their murders was his assumption of Von Heuben and Howell being anti-Christians. 6. Roberto Castro, age 54, killed on July 5, 1997 in Colton, California. A drifter beaten to death with a piece of plywood in a rail yard. Though not officially charged, Reséndiz is considered the prime suspect in this case. 7. Christopher Meyer, age 21, killed on August 29, 1997 in Lexington, Kentucky. a University of Kentucky student walking along nearby railroad tracks with his girlfriend, 20-year-old Holly Dunn Pendleton, when the two were attacked by Reséndiz, who bludgeoned Meyer to death with a 52-pound rock. Reséndiz raped and severely beat Pendleton, who nearly died. Pendleton, the only known survivor of an attack by Reséndiz, went on to appear on the Biography Channel television programs I Survived, 48 Hours, Live to Tell, and the ID Channel series Dates from Hell, Episode 8, A Killer Night. Her story was also told in the UK newspaper The Guardian. 8. Leafy Mason, female age 87, killed on October 4, 1998 in Hughes Springs, Texas, beaten to death with an antique fire iron after entering her house through a window. 9. Fanny Whitney Byers, female age 81, killed on December 10, 1998 in Carl, Georgia, bludgeoned to death with a tire rim in her home, which was located near CSX Transportation Railroad tracks. A Lexington couple was charged with Byers' murder, but according to authorities, Reséndiz admitted to an FBI agent that he killed her. 10. Claudia Benton, female, age 39, killed on December 17, 1998 in West University Place, Texas, a pediatric neurologist at the Baylor College of Medicine who was raped, stabbed, and bludgeoned repeatedly with a statue after Reséndiz entered her home near the Union Pacific Railroad tracks. Police found Benton's Jeep Cherokee in San Antonio and found Reséndiz's fingerprints on the steering column. At the time of the murder, Reséndiz had a warrant for his arrest for burglary, but not yet for murder. 11. Norman J. Cernick, male, age 46, killed on May 2, 1999 in Weimar, Texas. Norman J. Cernick and his wife Karen Cernick were bludgeoned to death with a sledgehammer in the parsonage of the United Church of Christ. The Cernick's red Mazda was found in San Antonio 3 weeks later, and fingerprints linked their case with Claudia Benton's murder. 12. Karen Cernick, female, age 47, killed on May 2, 1999 in Weimar, Texas. Karen Cernick and her husband Norman Cernick were bludgeoned to death with a sledgehammer in the parsonage of the United Church of Christ. The Cernick's red Mazda was found in San Antonio 3 weeks later, and fingerprints linked their case with Claudia Benton's murder. 13. Noemi Dominguez, female, age 26, killed on June 4, 1999 in Houston, Texas, bludgeoned to death with a pickaxe in her apartment. Dominguez was a schoolteacher at Houston Independent School District's Benjamin Franklin Elementary School. 7 days later, her white Honda Civic was discovered by state troopers on the International Bridge in Del Rio, Texas. 14. Josephine Convica, female, age 73, killed on June 4, 1999 in Dubina, Texas, bludgeoned with the same pickaxe used to kill Dominguez in her farmhouse near Weimar, which is also where the Cernicks were murdered. Reséndiz tried to steal Convica's car but could not find the car keys. 15. George Morber, senior, male, age 80, killed on June 15, 1999 in Gorham, Illinois, shot in the head with a shotgun. The house was located only 100 yards, 90 meters, away from a railroad track. Later, police found Morber's red pickup truck in Cairo, Illinois, located 60 miles south of Gorham. In addition, the Jackson County Sheriff's Office found fingerprints in the Morber's ransacked home, positively identifying Reséndiz as the killer. 16. Carolyn Frederick, female, age 52, killed on June 15, 1999 in Gorham, Illinois, bludgeoned to death with the same shotgun used in the Morber killing. Reséndiz was tried and sentenced to death for the Benton murder, prior to surrendering at the El Paso Bridge. The U.S. Border Patrol had arrested Reséndiz and deported him back to Mexico. Reséndiz's sister, Manuela, had seen her brother's FBI's most wanted poster and feared that her brother might kill someone else, or be killed by Mexican bounty hunters, so she contacted the police. On July 12, 1999, a Texas Ranger, Drew Carter, accompanied by Kimberly Barkhausen, FBI, Manuela, and a spiritual guide, met up with Reséndiz on a bridge connecting El Paso, Texas, with Ciudad Juarez, Chihuahua. Reséndiz surrendered to Carter. During a court appearance, Reséndiz accused Carter of lying under oath because Reséndiz's family was under the impression that he would be spared the death penalty. Reséndiz's ultimate fate, however, was decided by a jury, not Carter. In 1999, former Texas Attorney General Jim Maddox, wary of the controversy miring the many confessions and recantations by serial killer Henry Lee Lucas, remarked of Reséndiz, "I hope they don't start pinning on him every crime that happens near a railroad track." Mexican government response. Reséndiz's defense attorney, along with the assistance of Mexican Consul General in Houston Rodolfo Figueroa Aramoni, Consul General 1998 to 1999, and other Mexican government officials combined efforts to negotiate with the state of Texas for a deportation in hopes to spare Reséndiz's life from the death penalty. In 2006, Mexican presidential spokesman Ruben Aguilar said at a press conference that Mexican Foreign Relations Secretary Luis Ernesto Derbez had contacted then Texas Governor Rick Perry to ask for clemency for Maturino Reséndiz. "We will continue fighting for the condemned man, because we believe that the death penalty does not solve absolutely anything," Mexican presidential spokesman Ruben Aguilar said. He was sentenced to death on May 22, 2000, by a Texas court on June 21, 2006. A Houston judge ruled that Reséndiz was mentally competent to be executed. Upon hearing the judge's ruling, Reséndiz said, "I don't believe in death. I know the body is going to go to waste. But me, as a person, I'm eternal. I'm going to be alive forever." He also described himself as half man and half angel and told psychiatrists he could not be executed because he did not believe he could die. These and similar statements led Dr. Pablo Stewart, a bilingual psychiatrist who evaluated Reséndiz on 2 occasions in 2006, to conclude that Reséndiz was not then competent to be executed as delusions had completely taken over Reséndiz's thought processes. Despite an appeal pending with the 5th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals, Reséndiz's death warrant was signed for the murder of Claudia Benton. He was housed in the Polunsky Unit in West Livingston, Texas, awaiting execution. He was executed in the Huntsville Unit in Huntsville, Texas, on June 27, 2006, by lethal injection. In his final statement, Reséndiz said, "I want to ask if it is in your heart to forgive me. You don't have to. I know I allowed the devil to rule my life. I just ask you to forgive me and ask the Lord to forgive me for allowing the devil to deceive me. I thank God for having patience in me. I don't deserve to cause you pain. You do not deserve this. I deserve what I am getting." Reséndiz was pronounced dead at 8:05 p.m. Central Daylight Time, 1:05 Universal Time Coordinated, on June 27, 2006. Claudia Benton's husband, George, was present at the execution and said Reséndiz was evil contained in human form, a creature without a soul, no conscience,